Hi everyone, it's Bobbi-Jo and welcome to my home. I am coming to you with the review for 1Q84. This is by Haruki Murakami, and it is translated by Jay Rubin and Philip Gabriel. And it is a sci-fi novel, and it's not new. It's from 2009, was first published then. And so, as with this author, typically, this is a very intricate and very interesting novel for sure. It is very long. I think it's about 1,000 pages on hard cover, but I think it's like 1,300 for Kindle. So basically, the plot aspect of things, you have Aonami, I believe is how you pronounce her name. I called her Ao all the way through the book. And she finds herself in a taxi on an expressway in 1984. She's stuck, and she's got a very important meeting to get to. So what she decides to do after the taxi driver told her about it, she decides to climb down the emergency exit from the expressway. And when she climbs down this exit, she goes to her meeting like everything else. But as she's experiencing, the more she's experiencing the world that she's in, the more she's seeing inconsistencies. For instance, the police uniforms aren't the same, or just the slight things out of like, it's just not right for 1984. And after doing some research, she decides she's going to call it 1Q84. So 1?84. So that's where the title comes from. You then have the next main character, who is Tango. It's Tengo. So I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that right. And he's an aspiring writer. He also teaches math in a cram school, they call it, but I think it's just like a college. He's teaching math in that he was a math prodigy as a child. And Tango has a friend or publisher or what have you that brings him a draft novel. And the publisher friend feels that the novel could win a literary contest that is upcoming. However, he thinks it's so amazing, the story, but understands that it was not written well. It was written by a teen, and she has some learning disabilities, and so it is not laid out as well as it could be. So what happens is he asks Tango to ghostwrite it. And Tango takes this on, and it has to be kept very secret because nobody can, it's very unethical what they're doing. It's not illegal, but unethical. And so what he's doing is he starts to write himself basically into the world. And he's not realizing that he's writing himself. What's happening is he's going to have a religious cult involved. He's going to have the teen involved, who is very, very odd to say the least. She doesn't express emotions and stuff like this. a private investigator involved. All of these people who, and these strange circumstances that are happening, that he begins to realize there's something wrong. He and Ao knew each other way back when. And it seems that they're fated to come together. And they're navigating both through this world, trying to understand and get back to where they belong. If they're trying whatever they can do to get, they don't realize they're starting to to converge together. Yeah, so it goes on from there. I don't want to give too much away, but it proceeds from there, and yeah, it's just a whirlwind kind of thing. It's amazing. Yeah, I'll go through my thoughts on, because of course he just Haruki describes things amazingly. So that's what I basically. So my first thoughts on it, it's just intricately woven web of intrigues all through it. It's just, he weaves everything, and it's a highly complex plot. The characters leave you wondering whether you understood the plot, and the characters leave you wondering whether you understood the full thing. The full novel. Like you are left with, well, maybe it could have been this, or maybe it could have been that. Maybe I had thought of that wrong. Yeah. Anyways, the prose. The depth of the characters, as usual with this author, is fantastic. Very unique premise. Again, this author. He gives reminders, and this is one thing about his novels, that he gives reminders throughout the novel of things that happened previously. So you're not always sitting there and saying, that sounds familiar, or didn't we already talk about that, or something like this. He kind of gives a little reminder here and there, so you don't have to remember everything exactly. He leaves the reader with, like I said, with questions at the end. You're not even sure that you fully understood the novel, and yeah, I like that part of it. The foreshadowing, it just pulls you along as the reader. You're thinking, oh, I want to see if that's what happens. And then it's profound by every way, shape, and form. And the writing style is fantastic. The cons, the book could have been shorter. It could have been a lot shorter. We would not have had to have as many reminders if the book was shorter. And the descriptions could have been lessened. We didn't need to know the small little details of meals and things like that. It just wasn't needed. My rating for this one was 4 out of 5. My favorite quote was, "Only people who have experienced it know how horrible it really is. You can't easily generalize about pain. Each kind of pain has its own characteristics." To rephrase Tolstoy's his famous line, all happiness is alike, but each pain is painful in its own way. So I hope I was able to give you some thoughts about this book that might want you to pick up, if not 1Q84, at least look at Haruki Murakami. I will put the link to this book below, and I will put his name below it as well, because you really got to check out his writing. He is very good at it, and he's been doing it decades. So yeah, he's had multiple books, and they're not all this long, so you might want to ease into his writing by reading a shorter book of his. But anyways, I hope I was able to convince you that this is a pretty good book. All right, thanks guys, bye.